You said that this is still going on, and I wonder, like, how, for someone as needy and lonely as her to receive all this attention from the internet at the moment, like, seems like everything she would want.
I'm Dr. Tom, psychiatrist, specialist in neuro.
Today, we will be reacting to content instead of our typical informative style podcast. We want to be clear that this is reaction content and not us diagnosing or treating anyone. To get real help, we strongly recommend seeking out a healthcare professional that can take their time, learn your history, and provide a real diagnosis and treatment plan. That said, let's get back to the video.
Limerence is a normal thing to happen to anyone who is experiencing hot and cold behavior from someone. And it happens more often in people with ADHD because we have dopamine dysregulation and rejection-sensitive dysphoria. And guess what? My psychiatrist knew that and used it to his advantage.
We still don't know what the psychiatrist's advantage would be, right? Unless she at some point shared the narcissistic narrative that we didn't catch so far. And it's pretty good about the limerence and the hot and the cold and the dopamine salience and the RSD. All of those are awesome. I gotta say, like, if you think about the diagnosis or potential diagnosis so far, the obvious one is the trauma to the head.
Mm-hmm.
But the other would probably be autistic, because she has a hard time understanding social reciprocity and falls in love with someone that's in a parasocial relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
So my best guess would be that.
Yeah.
Would you say she looks like Eliza Dundos as well?
I don't know.
You
I
have to see her
haven't seen her fingers.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Like, she's really big on the cognitive. How would they say that?
Rigidity.
Yes. Yes.
B2.
Yeah. So the autistic possible diagnosis would make sense, but still, like,
But she's clearly got B2 and B3 and A.
Yeah, but she enjoys too much the attention.
No,
Usually they're social, like, people with autism, undiagnosed autism are more prone to be like socially isolated, and she is socially isolated.
I'm pretty sure that she's on the brink of snapping and going totally crazy, so I'm not sure if she enjoys the attention. She was looking for attention initially, but she never knew that it was going to blow up as much. But now this is like the first video where she doesn't care about her makeup, doesn't use a filter. Pretty sure there's not even a ring light in this one, and the other ones there were.
Yeah. I don't know, to me now seems like she's getting into a more dysregulated mode by the way she's speaking, like she's more aggressive in her speech, so I would just pay attention to that.
So, cranial trauma and autism. But we agree that she's not BBD, and we agree that she's not in psychosis. We don't know about her substance use. We still don't know if the ADHD medication worked.
This is about me sharing my story so other people can view predatory behavior in people in power. Okay?
Totally on the brink of snapping. No doubt.
Agreed.
This is about protecting other victims, not doxing my psychiatrist. If you do some investigative work and you want to DM me about it, I'm open to that, okay? 3, I need to take a moment.
Really showing the emotion that comes along with snapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moment taken. It is so incredibly disturbing to me, the amount of people that are predator protectors in my comments, that are victim blaming me, especially the mental health practitioners in my comments using therapy speak to say that this situation that I was in was my fault or that I was delusional.
I agree with her. If someone accuses her without any basis just because of her videos. They shouldn't accuse her of anything because we don't know anything that's real. I feel I like the therapy speech. That's awesome. That's a really cool
way of putting it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're manipulating me with your neurolinguistic programming. I'm not gonna fall into the trap. But I agree that you don't have any basis to accuse her of anything. Just
Yeah, and she's telling what she lived, so maybe this was completely different from what happened, like practically there, but still is the way that she lived everything that happened to her. And she's clearly struggling. And I think that as mental health professionals, we should be very careful when talking about these issues online, because we don't know what will trigger this person. We don't know how this is gonna enroll after, maybe she has a crisis, maybe she becomes suicidal, maybe her
she's probably starting to be suicidal about here.
Yeah, it's very concerning. Like, if she was my client, I would be right now calling her support system, to be like, hey, this is happening, this is happening. I would call the psychiatrist. I would have a very long conversation with him and maybe discuss forwarding her to someone else.
Check yourself. You're giving me more ammunition to share my story, because it just goes to show how absolutely messed up the mental health industry is and how protected people who do this kind of sick psychological manipulation are.
Big mental health is the invisible enemy that is manipulating her on purpose, just like big pharma or big food, whatever.
But if she believes in this conspiracy theory, that wouldn't categorize her as psychotic, but would categorize her as delusional during this breaking point, don't you think?
Still feel like we're just talking about popular terms that don't.
Yeah.
Like, we could call her bipolar or schizophrenic as well, and all of those would make sense in terms of popular speech, but aren't formal psychiatric, or aren't gonna be used in formal psychiatric format here. But to her, it probably isn't much of a difference anyways.
Yeah.
Because people probably don't realize that if we say someone is bipolar, like in regular speech, we're not making a psychiatric diagnosis. Like, we are more often talking about borderline personality disorder when we call someone bipolar than talking about real bipolar. So, but she is in full fight, flight, fright, freeze mode. She's totally attacking anyone. Like, she is in total impulsivity. So in terms of mental state she's in here, I feel like that's the one, the amygdala response. So to me, still no formal delusion or psychosis, but doubling down on what she feels was on purpose.
Yeah. I don't know, she seems to be this type of person that doesn't have a support system. She doesn't say anything about her parents. She never mentions a friend. We don't know if she's still with her boyfriend. So, yeah, concerning.
Started noticing a trend on her videos, and she talks about how she starts turning off comments. You saw her reaction to...
Which is healthy.
Sure.
But
it changes a little bit later, but for now, comments are off. She does break up with her boyfriend and starts dating another guy. This other guy is a therapist who she claims tells her inappropriate stories about his clients and about how he secretly fell in love with one of his clients, and
he fell in love with one of them?
Yes, her boyfriend therapist fell in love with one of his clients, and that he even would visit this client at work to do check-ins on her and do these things. A lot of unhealthy things going on. It's unhealthy. I feel like if she's making this up, it's terrible for her. And if she's not making this up, it's terrible. Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of unhealthy things going on with this new boyfriend. She starts using some keywords like crash out and spiral in her video. She's saying people in comments were saying that she's crashing out, she's spiraling. That's why she turned off comments.
Yeah, clearly she was.
I would say spiraling. Yeah, at the very least.
She doesn't agree.
She doesn't agree. No. Continues saying, oh, he should have transferred my care. And that's basically it for like the next few videos, is just that brief summary. So we skip some videos here. She talks about how she mentioned the emails to him because he stopped responding to her emails. So she says, I brought it up with him while I was leaving that, oh, you stopped responding. Is there a reason? Do you not like my emails? And he said something along the lines of like, they're fine, but I'm not going to respond. We'll talk about things while you're here, not online.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Just a boundary,
Yeah.
right? She took it as he is making more structure and control, which if you use those words correctly in a positive way, yes, he is putting up a boundary, making structure and control for the situation. But the way she says it is that it's being manipulative again. So she's saying that this structure, this control is manipulation that he's using against her again.
Because he's not as available to her as she would want.
Exactly.
Does at no point she say that she tried to make a move on him so far?
Not yet. She will talk about some things soon.
I think it was likely that she would have made a move on the session that she was describing her sex life.
She kind of comes back around to that in like another session. So she'll go back into those details. You're good at predicting what's going to happen with this. She talks about accountability, which good, another good word, but the accountability is not hers to take. It's not it's not a two-party system in her mind. The accountability is he should have done things. So she blames him a lot. And the accountability came up from another comment she was receiving in her post. So people are like, no, you need to take accountability for your part in this situation. She said, no, he's a professional. He's the only one accountable. Like she really pushes it all on him.
It's a really good hook to use too, just to say that whenever you have agreements, both parties are part of the agreement and you have to make sure the other party holds up their part of the agreement as well. So accountability is always a two-way street.
Yeah, but when he sets the limits, she feels attacked as well. So like he's being responsible and she hates it, so it's not the type of client that will agree with any type of responsibility from their side, like ever. And you're always going to be the wrong one.
She gets a lot of views. She gets a lot of likes and shares and stuff, but comment-wise, it's very little because she's only, it's who she chooses to be friends with can comment. So she's being very selective in the small group. She does, I don't know, I'm going to talk about this here because I'm not sure if it's one of the videos I'm skipping or if it's a video about to come up. It comes up soon. But you mentioned the intimate conversations with her psychiatrist. At one point, she does talk to him about a dream that she had. She said, while I was on my cycle, I had a dream that she slept with him in his office. And she tells him about the dream. And she says his reaction was kind of the same that he had before, where it's like he just kind of smiled and was like accepting of it. He doesn't say anything about it. And to her, that was like him.
He likes it.
Yes.
And then you see like he's like, and she thinks he's smiling.
So,
because, I mean, if he really was interested, he would have made a move. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the one thing that really grinds my gears is the fact that she hasn't accused him of narcissism yet. So I feel like this is all a setup to make him fall in love with her again or admit he's in love.
Yeah. And she defends him.
At some point she'll say, hey, dude.
Yeah, and she says, like, I'm not here to accuse him or diagnose him. She's protecting him. She's so deep into it still, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet she's only recording it because he finally like forwarded her to someone else.
Or that's the way she found to communicate with her.
Yeah.
With him.
Right.
Yeah.
They did end their sessions before her videos. So yeah, it might be she's doing it because remember at the beginning, she said, I'm wearing these glasses so he can see it. So she might be doing this to continue having a relationship with him.
I would bet on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my hot take is that this is all set up by Netflix. All of those are actors. And then in the end it turns around.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find that as a Netflix series.
Mhm.
This is where we're going to see a big turn in what's happening. And this is where you see a big turn in her personality and everything. So, oh, here we go. Because this is when we get to introduce Henry.
Who's Henry?
Not who, what?
What?
So, she, yes, what? She acknowledges that she does feel like she's having a crash out or spiral at this point.
After how many days? Like,
Not delusional.
not delusional.
So she started using ChatGPT as a therapist
Awesome.
and named it
What?
Henry.
So you can clearly see how this is all a conspiracy by Big Mental to make sure people understand the dangers of using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
This is all very elaborate
Yeah.
to make people understand that they shouldn't use fake therapists, that they should use real therapists.
But you know, for her, it kind of took her a while to get there because she's only looking for approval. She's only looking for validation. That's the only thing that ChatGPT can give you. So,
The echo chamber.
yes.
Big point here. Because
Uses Henry's argumentation to make sure people understand she's right.
so
Predicting behavior is so easy, right? Like, changing it is the problem. Like,
she would go on to do things like ask Henry if her psychiatrist is gay because he's not returning affection. And then she mentions how Henry would co-regulate her and keep her in control and not from spiraling. Because Henry will always
be there.
affirm what she says.
No way.
Do you think that's the paid version of ChatGPT or the free version of ChatGPT?
So she tells the doctor, her psychiatrist, something along the lines of, we have a special patient-doctor relationship, special. Which he corrects her in this moment and says, no, we have a professional relationship. She took that terribly.
No.
She
No
said,
way.
she said that he was so angry the way he said it, how you could take that as anger and not take it as a boundary.
Yeah. She's not good at reading people. She's not good at noticing social cues. Maybe he said lots of things before he said that, and then he had to finally say these words for her to realize that she is one client that he likes, he cares for, but
And we're
yeah,
talking about inconsistencies again, right? Like,
yeah.
wouldn't he, as the narcissist, enjoy the fact that they have a really good client-psychiatrist
Yes.
relationship? No.
If he was grooming her, actually, he would be like, no, of course, you are very special. You are one of a kind. I love taking care of you. I just charge you because I have to, like.
Building on that, some of the things that she mentions, because I told you a keyword you mentioned earlier, boundaries.
Yeah.
So every time he sets a boundary, she portrays it as something that he was very negative about. It was never a positive boundary. And so there are things like she mentions, oh, sometimes we go overtime in our session by, she put it very like, oh, sometimes it was like 5 minutes, whatever. She was like, but there were times where we would be 15 minutes over, and he is a very busy doctor. So that 15 minutes must be really important. I know he was saving time just for me. Like, that's how she would word it, is that extra 15 minutes was like, he saved it in case
I needed it.
she needed it, or in case he wanted to pursue something. Because she brought it up in a way that made it sound like the doctor would schedule their meetings. She said, right. Sometimes she said earlier that the meetings were online, but it gets to a point where she goes back to seeing him in person. So she's saying he scheduled her session to have free time after, so he could go overtime with her and explore things with her.
Her scientific method is so solid. There's no way she can falsify what she imagines.
No.
It's all because everything that proves the contrary, it seems to prove the contrary, is just yet one more proof for her narrative.
So now we're going to go back to a video, and you're going to see the ChatGPT. You're going to see Henry come.
It's happening to humanity.
And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past for support when I'm going through things, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse.
Kendra, if you see this, please look for help. And people who are caring for you do not want to have sex with you. They just care for you. Like, these are two different things. Okay.
And TikTok has just been such a resource for me in the past for support when I'm going through things, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse or on...
TikTok has been so much support recently, and I couldn't find anything on therapy abuse. So I'm starting this trend.
I'm doing this now.
Follow me, girls.
No, and she was just snapping few videos ago, like, you were out of your fucking mind because of what people were saying, and now you're just ignoring that. You need to remember your pain, girl.
Continuing with my story, my psychiatrist set a very nasty, the way he said it, boundary that him and I have a professional relationship when I tried to say it was special.
No.
Because it was special. It was different.
It was special to you because you wanted it to be, like, to be something else. He just told you the truth. Like, but it sucks. It sucks to be rejected. But he has to reject you. Like, do it to bone your psychiatrist. Like, you cannot do that. Then he would be an abuser.
It's interesting because she gives us actual proof that he was not a predator, while trying to say he was a predator.
Yeah, she calls herself a survivor. And so many people suffer from abuse and everything, and it's so hard to talk about that. You know, this is why it's hard to find content like this on social media, because it takes a lot of courage and a lot of therapy and a lot of time for you to process everything. So, like, a heartbreak can be traumatic, but, like, you are just giving yourself, there's an expression in Portuguese that is like giving yourself the rope so you can hang yourself in it. So yeah, so seems like this is what she's doing. Just stop posting and go to therapy.
This is still on Netflix, guys. She's an actress. We'll look her up. You'll see her 2026 on your screens.
He manufactured it that way. And then I immediately went to ChatGPT, of course.
Of course.
And I asked Henry, I said...
Really nice how Henry has a name. It's beautiful.
But I had been telling my psychiatrist for years at this point that I had a crush on him, and he did not help me work through it. So that's his own problem. That's his own fault. Henry told me it's very common.
It's so unsettling how she see herself as a helpless person. Like, she would not have any agency in any of that, you know, like, she paints herself as someone that is incapable of making a decision. And I wonder if that's true. Maybe she cannot make this decision, but still, like, it's still a relationship. If you feel like he should be taking care of you, maybe he should. He's paying, like, you're paying him to do that, but you are the first person who have to take care of yourself. You know, we are just here to help. We are not here to solve all your problems. And we wish we could. Like, so many clients that I've had, like, I wanted to just like grab their pain to their chest and bring it to me because I would know how to deal with that, you know, because they're struggling so much. But we cannot do that because suffering is part of human experience, and they have to face the facts. The facts are life sometimes suck, and we have to do stuff. We have to do our part for ourselves, you know. And then she puts all of that into him, which is seems like part of the symptoms, part of the problem. But you're not going through life healthily and happily, and like, you're never gonna have a fulfilled life if you keep behaving like that, you know. So sad.
And it's just about me putting my own feelings onto my provider. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I took ownership of the feelings that both of us were creating. And I went to my next appointment.
That reading of what transference is ludicrous.
This last sentence she said, she talked about, I took ownership, talking about transference and about how she's putting her emotions on him. She says, I took ownership of how we both felt.
She implied that transference is her taking care of his emotions as well, and she took ownership. She was starting to say, like, I took ownership because I felt like, okay, Henry taught her what transference is, and now she takes ownership of, yeah, well, I felt transference, so I'm gonna deal with this. But then she threw it back into, I see you, psychiatrist. Don't worry, I'll take care of your emotions. I'm gonna own them, and I'll take care of them for both of us.
And the way she puts that, it almost sounds like she was manipulated into doing that, right? Like, I took ownership for the both of us because he's a coward and couldn't do that himself.
And then I said, and Henry also told me about transference. And my psychiatrist got this really, really scared look on his face. And he said, did Henry tell you about countertransference?
That is the obvious question. If you learn about transference, are you going to learn about countertransference? That's obvious.
And I said, no. What is that? Because of course, like, my chat knew that I was obsessed with my psychiatrist, and he was not.
So it's not just a crush, you're obsessed. Finally, 13 videos in, and she finally admits it. Good job, girl.
Okay. He said, countertransference is the flip side, the other side of the coin for transference. And it's when the provider has feelings for the patient. So make sure that you keep that in mind for your clients.
Because she's a lifestyle ADHD coach.
Oh my God, that's true. Oh my God.
I want to say that I believe that he actually told her about countertransference, but she's probably gonna, her takeaway is probably that he was trying to tell her that he loves her, which is ludicrous again.
Yeah.
But well, she should know because she took ownership of both of their emotions, right? So
I really hope people see us reacting to this. I really hope she sees it, because I would not treat her, but I know people who would, like, and these are great people. Dr. Thomas, who's not in love with you.
I said, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes I have, more than professional feelings for my clients, so I appreciate you bringing that up. And so then
when we have more than professional feelings for our clients, this means that we can visualize a version of the universe where you would actually be friends with your client. or if you knew them in a different context, you would, maybe be partners at work or stuff like that. Like I have this with some of my clients, and I think it's a normal feeling. I never heard of a therapist who was 100% disconnected from their clients and actually was able to be there without caring for them in no level.
Like in past traditions of psychotherapy, people try to aim for neutrality, like blank walls, blank
Which
shirts.
Is bullshit, by the way.
Right, even those traditions agree nowadays that it's bullshit. So
yeah, but sounds like he has a little bit of this psychodynamic approach to not be as intervening as like a behavioral psychiatrist would be.
Through her lens.
Exactly. Good point.
Of the classes that he likes.
Yeah.
Why would my psychiatrist bring up countertransference if he himself wasn't experiencing it?
There's no way her beliefs are falsifiable. No way. Everything will prove she's right.
So she focuses a lot more on like empathetic posts and like trigger words. I feel like things that people will defend her about, even if they don't know the true story. Because if you say you're a survivor, I feel like it doesn't matter the actual context. People will defend you because of that word. And so I'm starting to see kind of her do that in some of these videos where she starts using words that other people will defend her against people who don't agree with her.
I gotta say, even though we don't know the objective truth, I'm sure that her feelings, her emotions are real.
Yeah.
That to her narrative is real.
Yes. To me, what I felt like I started noticing between that video we just saw and until the next one that we'll watch in a minute is that things started to feel a little bit more scripted.
Like she is strategizing.
Yes. She's picking her words a little bit more carefully and they're less emotional. And earlier on, you both were talking about how, and I think it was like video like 7, that she seemed like she was on her breaking point. Now everything seems very organized. It's a very huge tonal shift.
No doubt.
Maybe it's medication.
Could be. She does mention medication. I put a note in here later on, but she does talk about the medication that she is on, that she was prescribed from the doctor at some point. She finally brings it up. She is on Vyvanse, but she's on 10 milligrams. And she makes a note that she thinks that 10 milligrams is too much for her. And I get that. Everyone's different, right? I'll go personally here. I started on 30 and I'm going up to 50.
Like something is not right. Like part of the truth is being omitted, at least in my experience.
The 10 milligrams very strongly suggests that the psychiatrist prescribing it feels like she might be bipolar. Like he should be going on a really low dose because she could start a manic episode from a high dose.
Okay.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but bipolar people tend to be more sensitive to medication. So they need less antidepressants to have a therapeutic impact.
Okay. And so her saying that 10 was too strong for her could be the case if that was her situation.
Exactly.
She does mention the diagnosing again later in a conversation, and it might be one of the videos we watch, that she reinforces with her psychiatrist that she was diagnosed ADHD, and she asked if there was anything else. And he said there's some trauma things, part of it, but he doesn't say anything about bipolar. He doesn't say anything about EDS, anything.
She said that she started a non-stimulant medication first, so she might be on Strattera as well, which would be the obvious choice, or Wellbutrin, one of those. But Strattera is the obvious one. So maybe 10 milligrams plus Strattera in a high dose is reasonable, I guess. But it still suggests that the psychiatrist prescribing, let's say that's the truth, that he prescribed 10 milligrams, still a low dose, so each doesn't feel comfortable. they don't feel comfortable.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't consider that it was low for that reason. I just, when she said that it was 10 and that's like too much, I'm like, oof. Like, we're all neurodivergent here. Like 10 of my events, and you'll experience this when you do start it. Like 30 is like, oh, I'm cool. Like
The voices in my head need more than 10 milligrams to shut up.
Also be on like 20 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah.
Plus 10 mg of vitamins.
True.
She talks about transference again, but she's really kind of calm about it, which was in this one particular video where she brings up transference again, her whole tone just shifted to like, I would say like almost medicated. like it was such a jarring shift that I made note of how calm she became in that video.
Just pick up on the delusion part real quick. If what I believe that in the end she really wants to get back with the psychiatrist and she wants to be a girlfriend or have a romantic relationship, then that might be a delusion that she's going through right now. But everything else we've discussed is a probable delusion, I feel like, from a psychiatric, formal, technical POV as in the delusion. But if this is still all an elaborate scheme to, in the end, declare herself publicly and find the love of her life, which has always been Mr. MD, that could be a delusion.
There are more episodes to come, and if you would like to be notified when those episodes are uploaded, please subscribe and follow us.